Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Testing. Yes. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris. Um, Forgive me if I look a little bit tiring because I just landed in New Zealand last night, flying almost a full day from Vietnam. Yes, I couldn't sleep around like 4 last night because it was 11 something in back in Vietnam. So forgive me if I'm still a little bit sleepy this morning. So I think I watched the previous section, and my section hopefully can carry a little bit different vibe for all of you. I did my master in New Zealand, actually in Massey, Auckland, 5 years back, doing a lot of tech stuff and blockchain related project recently. And I think the conference today, I carry some of the interesting story and cases to share with everyone, just to see if you're interested in collaborating in any of the Web3 activities or not. Before I start, can I see a show of hands, like how many of you actually have heard of blockchain, Web3 or crypto before? Ooh. Everyone, almost like 90%. So anyone have tried to play games, the Web3 version yet? Axie Infinity? So which Web3 games you guys have played before? Can I know? Okay. Oh, the Sandbox. Okay. So actually, we our company is working with the Sandbox as well. But I think right now the Sandbox is a little bit more on the metaverse side rather than a true gaming yet. Okay. So anyway, so this is my profile. So I used to be the chief strategy for Hobby Global, which is one of the biggest crypto exchange in the world as well, running and start a different, blockchain startups in Southeast Asia, in Vietnam, in Malaysia, and Singapore as well. Right now, I'm working for this U2U Foundation, which is one of the foundation around the blockchain space. So what we do is we incubated project within the interest of our foundation, as well as helping them to, build Web3 startups, for example, and helping Web2 business to make a jump into Web3, for example. So actually, right now in Asia, we're working with a few gaming partners to explore how we can help them in some of the activities as well. Yep. So let's start first with the metaverse. I think the show of hands today already showed that a lot of you have beginning your journey with the metaverse or the virtual world even before we knows it. So actually, a lot of us actually using the metaverse way before we already realize it, which is Facebook. Facebook is a, I always joke that it's a 2D version of the metaverse, that you haven't been able to get into the virtual side of it, but experience wise, Facebook is already the first version of the metaverse out there. You can interact with people from far away, from anywhere, and sometimes you can be not even who you are on Facebook. You make up profile, different names, different religion and everything. So that's basically the entire definition of metaverse. It's allowing you to step into a dimension that parallel with where we're living today, and with that is actually unlock a lot of the values out there for everyone involved, including gaming, industry. So I think one of the, I wouldn't say issue, but the limits of the traditional games is, people play Call of Duties, we have their own groups. People play Axie Infinity, we have their own groups and everything. But the experience and the conversion or transition between one game to another game is almost impossible. You really can't, right? So what if you can build a bridge between these games to allow people to cross over to each other? And even from the ideas concept, and right now it's already happening, that based on a technology called NFT, which I show later, you can actually creating such a unique commodity or collection only customized for the two games together, for example. So, for example, one of the games made by Walt Disney can collaborate with the Sandbox, or can collaborate with Call of Duties and have the logo of Walt Disney on the uniform of like the game figure in whatever of the games, for example. And those commodities, those assets in the games can be easily put on blockchain technology and can be exchanged and can be swapped easily, which not the case for traditional Web 2 games, for example. And from a broader scope of technology, right, metaverse actually allowing a lot of the business out there, like not only gaming but like traditional business, to unlock a lot of the interaction that they have between themselves and the user without the border as well. And especially, like after COVID, after the lockdown, I think a lot of us have been able to experience that, feeling of being not connected. So metaverse absolutely will be the way to go forward for not only the business but a lot of the gaming out there as well. So I quote a quote from McKinsey, which is a consulting firm. If you don't try, then you never know, right? So I think a lot of you have shown hand about playing Web3 games before. So right now, outside of AR and VR, which we probably gonna hear a lot through the conference in the next 2 days, the backbones of the blockchain or Web3 gaming related right now, it's all fall back under this NFT technology, so which is non-fungible token. So for people out there who have not understand about NFT, so NFT basically it's a unique and only version of that commodity or asset itself, meaning that you can duplicate, you can replicate, you can't copy and paste. Simply, it's the only version of it in the digital world. And because of this character, it's really benefits for gamer or game publisher to protect their own, uniqueness in games, and protection themselves from fraud, for example, because in traditional games, in certain country and community, we have very good hacker that they don't hack into the games for bad purpose. They just try to cheat the games and have more assets, for example. So these NFT technology, like I shared in the beginning, it's allowing people to access into these kind of games commodity quite seamlessly from anywhere and even outside of games. So let me stop here very quickly. And this NFT is making sense not only in the virtual world but also a lot of sense in the gaming industry as well. So I think one of the other limits for the traditional games is that it's so hard for you to onboard non-gamer user into your games. And it's very straightforward. It's very straightforward, right? If you don't play Call of Duties, you are not playing Call of Duties. But I don't play Call of Duties, right? But I know there are certain weapons, there are certain privilege within the games. Does carry a lot of values within the games, and sometimes these games assets can be exchanged and can be sold for a lot of money in certain communities. But with the traditional games, it's almost impossible to do so for people outside of that gaming industry, right? For example, for the sake of explanation, right? I'm not a game lover, but I understand that that particular asset within Axie Infinity, within Call of Duties, within fantasy, for example, games, will worth a lot of money in 6 months' time because of some announcement, because of the special collection that they are carry and everything. So even without playing the games, if these assets are built on NFT and blockchain, for example, I can easily access and let's say make a bid to purchase this when it's the price is slightly lower. Just look at it more like a speculated investment instrument for me, for example, right? So, and sometimes there are people that just love to collect these items just for the collection purpose. They don't have time to play 10 hours a day to get all the way to that level that they can achieve these game assets, for example, or they want to do it quick. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it. Anyone can achieve it, can resell it for me. But again, the crossover and the like exchange component of traditional games is what the NFT and the metaverse can solve in the next few years as well. Yeah. So not only for the games, but the traditional company also looking at NFT and metaverse as another way to interact with a new group of user. And I think this is a chance for especially the game publisher and games writer out there as well. Normally you don't have chance to interact with other vertical outside of your gaming verticals, but because of this new concept around the NFT, you can actually now represent some ideas that wrapped around the gaming core, as well as some of the branding feature of the corporate client that you're working for example. Because right now, so I'm advising a European project that they're creating within their existing games, right? A collection of corporate heroes, for example, for particular campaigns. And so people, when they participate in certain corporate campaigns or charity, for example, they will be rewarded these, corporate, figures, which they can play in the games. And a lot, of course, these corporate figure carry their own color and brand that represent the campaigns and everything. So it bring a lot of the customization angles into the interaction of the brands with the user as well. And the games who can get on this train earlier will probably benefit a lot from working with the big brands at the moment. So I think a few of the audience mentioned about the sandbox. So sandbox right now, the sandbox is one of the projects that doing very well in working with the big brands in onboarding their brands into the metaverse. So for example, it can be HSBC Bank, it can be Starbucks. However, they haven't been able to do the excellent gaming part yet. They have done an amazing job on onboarding the brand, the customization of the brands into the metaverse, but the gaming part of it, after that, it's not quite there yet. So they need a lot of gaming partner to work together with them. So like I said, right, so I touched a little bit on how the NFT actually can make a lot of sense for people out there. For example, this is an example of Nike, for example. So I see one of the guy like shaking heads like, nah, it can't be real, but it's like that. So a lot of people out there, they are willing to, again, just like how we collecting collectibles in traditional world, as long as the digital collections that you are making together with your clients, your corporates, carry the uniqueness and some sentimental story behind it, it can carry a certain value with it. And this is the thing, of course, like it's similar to a lot of those, customized, like shoes out there that the basketball player usually wears, right? But this is the difference for the brand and whoever creating this. For a physical shoes, right now, after I'm selling off that special version of the shoes, I may know that he's the first owner of the shoes, for example. But after that, I have no idea where's the shoes and how people using the shoes for. But imagine if you are the brands and if you are a gaming company and you are creating a digital collection which help you to track where exactly is that digital shoes right now. Because after he's buying the NFT shoes, for example, he reselling it for double the price to another collectors. And it's depends a lot on what kind of program or what kind of loyalty scheme you're putting behind these shoes, for example. Because, for example, if I'm creating a special, like a summer camp or a VIP dinner between, like the basketball lover here in Wellington and some NBA star coming to visit New Zealand, for example, right? So I can create a program saying that whoever owns that first collections of the NFT shoes that been created like certain times and everything are entitled for a VIP ticket to sit together with those stars, for example. You can easily track how many people will respond and how many people to actually submit the NFT to join these campaigns, for example. I don't think that will be the case for the physical shoes, right? Because you don't want to collect all the shoes in your office and everything. Another example will be Starbucks. So this case of Starbucks is not the case in Vietnam or New Zealand, for example, but this is the case that they have done in the US. So what they have done is they creating a small gamification campaign for Starbucks. It's like, like hunting treasure and quest at different store of Starbucks and in different state, for example. So for example, they giving out a reward if you can collect 5 or 6 different stamps from different states to receive a special gift, a special digital merchandise from Starbucks, for example. So you have to solve a certain quest and certain, like hunting treasure to be able to, unlock those prizes, for example. So you see, it's carry a lot of similar scheme like a few traditional marketing campaign that you have seen, but it's adding a little bit more flavor into it and the excitement into it. And the thing is, you always can resell these like digital commodity or merchandise. So it's really creating a whole new segment and product that you can exchange it for like money or other goods, for example. Yeah. So this is another the next two examples are very real. So Decentraland together with the Sandbox are the two biggest metaverse right now. And so what they does is you can basically purchasing a land in their metaverse to create your own product or your own factory or what you want to do, right? So what's up with the metaverse, right? So metaverse is actually solving a few issues that we are facing nowadays in some of the country, for example, especially crowded country like Vietnam, Indonesia, China, where land are not that plenty. I mean, a lot of people are all over the place, so land are very limited, right? So if you want to open up a shop, if you want to open up a place where you can interact with your user, your clients, you probably consider to do it in the metaverse as well. So JP Morgan from the US purchased a big land on the Decentraland, and HSBC, surprisingly, anyone knows how much they pay for the metaverse land in the Sandbox? If you feel like this is a far future from now, this figure will surprise you, and it's show you how close the future will be. They spent $1 billion for the metaverse land. Think of, right now what Elon Musk is trying to do with the moon, right? So think of metaverse like another moon. Who get there first got a chance to tap it. This is my land, right? So it's all about buying low and selling high, right? So right now, a lot of people still have doubt about the metaverse, still have, question about the metaverse. It's okay, right? But there are early adopter and early believer already go there and purchase lands when we it's like bullshit. I mean, they already done it, right? So it's your choice to think of the next, maybe 10-year strategy of how to engaging your games or your company into something like this. And I think metaverse and NFT wise are some of the earlier and easier way to explore the gateway rather than going so deep into develop something like really, really hardcore. I would like to give one more example to prove this point. So the private company are going ahead and purchasing some of the metaverse lands and everything. What about, countries and government, right? You will be surprised by this news. China is the first country that also purchased land on the metaverse to build what? The first embassies on metaverse. It was like, wow, what? No, seriously. So, I mean, anyone have research about, China. So they're pretty good in, let's say, I wouldn't say controlling. I would say governance, right? Governance. They would like to governance people from in and out, here and there, everywhere, right? So same thing. So I think last conference I hear Cris saying yeah, you can go metaverse, you can buy land, you can do anything that you want over there, right? Chinese government doesn't think so. So they were like, okay, we do pretty good governance on the web too, on the traditional world. But we couldn't let people just go there and doing anything they like on the metaverse, right? So you know what? Let's go ahead and purchase a land on the metaverse and build our first online embassies over there. So any Chinese citizens would like to open up a business or doing anything on the metaverse, please go through this metaverse office of us. That's how crazy and how real it is, right? I mean, when we are still questioning, and of course, right now, I'm still curious how they're gonna do it. But the reality is they have go ahead and purchase a land to build an online embassies on the metaverse. So it's not that far from where we think we are today. So speaking of metaverse, for example, another project called Bizverse in Vietnam. So this is a project that they have done with a local beer company, not a local, like it's Heineken. So they're creating this, again, quick gamification campaign during the World Cup, Qatar World Cup, like last year, basically allowing people in Vietnam to buy beer, and they have a tickets. And this ticket is actually allowing them to log in a metaverse site that Bizverse creating for Heineken's in Vietnam. So they replicate the 8 stadiums in Qatar in every corner. So you can actually not traveling to Qatar and know exactly is where is the toilet and where is the hot dog are selling in that stadium particular, right? So it's allowing people who could not afford, certain experience to, again, experience some stuff out of it. Of course, it's not replacing the real experience that you could travel to Qatar. But again, something is something. And again, different from you are winning a a lottery and got sponsored to go to Qatar, right? For this kind of gamification, what it's getting back to Heineken and the sponsor and the company, for example, is data. You can actually track the response rate of your campaign much better than the traditional marketing campaign as well. And you can be surprising how many people, again, right, just for fun idea, right, how many people go straight to the stadium and try to look for the toilet right away, or the hot. People are crazy online, right? They would like to seek out for some certain corners, and so you can actually track and feel like, hey, if the next time, right, we're doing something similar, Heineken plus another brand, it should be this hot dog brand, because people were looking for that in our metaverse, for example, right? So you have real data to get back to your campaign to show you what you should do next in your activities, for example. And the last example on the virtual world would be this Live Well company. So Live Well is a insurtech company that enable both the NFT as well as the blockchain elements of it into a smartwatch, for example. So I think people have heard about this concept of I think Walt Disney in the US, they have like smart bands that act as tickets that allowing you to going in and go through all of the like theme park and everything. So Live Well is similar. In each of the smartwatch that they are selling, there a unique ID, which is again on NFT, that carry your own biometric, carry your own like medical like condition as well as insurance information on there. And you know what, that's so boring, right? They make it extra spicy for people who owns the watch buying. Anyone heard of the trend move to earn during the GameFi peak, like about a year or 2 years ago? So basically, and it's on blockchain, right? So move to earn, basically that a lot of the games encourage you to move and track your movement and earn rewards out of that, right? It's not a new concept. So it's people only knows about that concept more because of crypto. But in Korea, for example, so there's this unicorn. So it's a company with over $1 billion value in unicorn value in Korea. Let me recall the name. But basically, what they do is their apps is tracking people's steps to reward them with points. So that's move to earn, right? And what these points can do is allowing people who will run and move and exercise to earn those points, right? To exchange for other services. So they're working with insurance company, they're working with banking company to allowing these point banked to be converted into real product and services. You see, a simple and this is something that you can think of as well, because the movement, the tracking, that feature is already on your phone, right? So all you have to do is creating a system that work with those tracking to retrieve those information into the games and rewarding people with the points. So this Live Well, allowing people to exchange their points for insurance policy, like the short travel, the quick buy and everything. So it's allowing them to work with a lot of banks and like insurance company because of that model as well. Yep. So the later part, hello. The later part will be, hello. The later part will be more on the gaming side. The first part was on the virtual one, right? So before I deep dive into the gaming side of the presentation, so basically, right, blockchain or not, normally the new application coming out they try to do three purpose, and that's why they're being created. Number one, solving a certain issue that we are facing every day, like solving the problem, right? Number two, complete upgrade the current solution into a better one. And the last one is creating a whole new product before the existence of that technology, for example. So the third one is the hardest one out of the three, and blockchain and AI and metaverse are the forefront of the technology that actually be able to create those kind of new product at the moment. So if people are still confusing, so I would say NFT arts, Bitcoins are some of the example of the third category, which is a complete new product that could not be made because of the technology, for example. So, and it's the same for the gaming. Because of the technology, they are able to create some new concept on the gaming side, for example. Right. So what are the three biggest value for gaming when they're adopting blockchain? So I think I mentioned about the asset ownership. Again, it should not be limited to people playing games, but people outside of the games also can access into that asset ownership as well. And I think I forgot to mention that it's not often, but sometimes within the gaming community, you have heard about, oh yeah, he's hacked into my account, he stole my asset, or sometimes the game distributor take back the asset within your pockets or something like that. It won't be the case if it's on blockchain and NFT. So when the asset is within your pockets, it's within your pockets, meaning that if you're collecting these asset and put it in your pockets and you forget the password, I'm sorry, I can't help you as well, because that asset will be there forever, but no one will be able to access or move it outside of your pockets but you. Then actually a few other games also maybe not looking at blockchain as one of the asset rewarding technology, but more like tracking and anti-fraud and anti cheating mechanism, for example. So right now I'm also incubating a project in Vietnam. It's a US based company, but what it does is right now it's writing a smart audit tool for gaming company to track the activities on blockchain, for example. So basically, it's a parallel layer that runs together with the gaming when you play the games, to make sure that they scan all of the activities to make sure those activities are normal and no cheating. So when anything happens or any dispute, they have a reference check to goes back and check if any hiccups or any debugs or anything that happen at any particular times. Because right now, unless you are the game creator or game distributor, we have no idea. Even at the user level, you don't have the tool to blame the game distributor that, hey, that's my asset, right? Why you took it away from me? You don't have that evidence, you don't have that data to back you up. So smart contract and blockchain will come in handy for those kind of purposes as well. And especially, I think later I have an example of e-sport, for example. Sometimes cheating, especially online esport, right? You can't really tell, and you don't have a system behind to act as a referee for all of the competition as well. So blockchain coming in handy into that. And so then microeconomies, I mentioned about, like allowing games and allowing assets from different community to cross to each other, for example. Yep. Right. So on this, later I will put on my WhatsApp, so you can scan my WhatsApp, and then I send a slide to you. So no need to take photo or anything. So this is the involvement of the gaming on blockchain so far. It starts from a very humble, like 2017, when like CryptoKitty is just like a very simple kitty, silly symbol get on the blockchain, and it's blocking all the traffic on Ethereum that day. Like nothing got approved because everyone was minting the CryptoKitties, for example. Then Unity, I think we have a big Unity booth here at the conference as well. Also stepping in blockchain in 2018, and you will be surprised. I think along your research, I think after today, do a little deeper research, you will see actually some of the big game distributor and creator out there already somehow step into these Web3 enable games already. Then the Sandbox came out 2019. 2021, 2020 was a big year for gaming on blockchain, so we call it GameFi, right? So, and because of that GameFi big, bull runs, the entire blockchain, the entire crypto market got a chance to onboard like a lot of new completely user as well. And again, it goes back to some of the value that I share just now to you guys. Some of them are not even playing games, right? Some of them really like the famous game, and just to collect some merchandise, just to collect some asset from that game alone, just for investment purposes, for example. And of course, when I say it's investment, it can be good investment as well as very bad investment. So a lot of people coming into the speculated wave a little bit late. They invest quite high, and I think they still hold on into their asset at a very high price, and I doubt that it will ever go back to that price again, for example. But a lot of the gaming nowadays are moving more into a more sustainable and the quality of the traditional games, because that's how even the gaming on the Web3 should go after. Because during the 2020, one of the things that happened, even though we see a big bull run on the GameFi, a lot of the scheme was similar to a little bit of the Ponzi scheme, for example. So the people putting in the money after actually make money off. The people putting money earlier actually making off people putting money after that, for example, and it's not healthy for the game itself. Yes. Right. So being a little bit academia here, if people curious like how the investment look like, at least for 2020, for the gaming side, you will be surprised how much blockchain games take up for the entire, gaming investment size, which is 1/3 of the entire, size of the market at that time, which is 460 million, 38%, right? And if you look at the size of the blockchain gaming alone, the top down and bottom up, evaluation right now, and I'm not making this, this, from the very famous consulting company. So right now we're looking at 50 plus, billions market size, easily. And I think the number can look much bigger in the future as well, especially like my previous example on the virtual goods and everything, right? The gaming now rather than just having these entertainment purpose for the true gamer. They actually can have a lighter version, which allowing brands and corporates to collaborate with them to create a less hardcore version of themselves, to allowing more user onboarding, for example. So if you can tap on those like traditional web 2 marketing funnel of funds, that's huge. So this is the basically the look of the landscape of the Web3 industry at the moment. So if you ask me who I'm working for right now, so where we are, so we would be somewhere in that box like infrastructure. So U2U Foundation, we creating a layer similar to Polygon. We also have an NFT marketplace with which allowing games or project that have the NFT interaction to work with us and entering into any markets that the NFT marketplace are operating. So that's the accessibility, right? So if you are running a games, if you are creating a NFT collection, so make it short. You don't have to bring Cris all the way from Vietnam here. You only have to pick up the phone, call him, get your collection to sell in those NFT marketplace locally in those region. Then you can suddenly have access into the local community that after they purchase the NFT, they can now entering into your games and playing stuff that you allowing them to do so, for example. Then on the big side, on the left side, we have a lot of games. You can see a lot of similar names on there. And if you look at this, again, coming from Vietnam, so Axie Infinity actually coming from Vietnam. All of the developer and the team was in Vietnam. So Tetan Arena also from Vietnam as well. So I'm bragging about Vietnam because if you guys really look out for extra resource and a way to collaborate and entering into Southeast Asia, I don't know if we are the particular one to help you, but please chat with me to see if how we can do this all together. Because right now, as the foundation, we're actually working with different community across Southeast Asia to do this as well. We're working with a very big gaming guild, formerly called YGG, but now they're converting their name into W3GG, which is a gateway for gaming project to entering into different markets. So we work with them to go to universities to tell students that, like back in my days, my mom said like playing gaming is bad. Like play games, you probably end up driving taxi, for example. But now actually playing games, especially crypto games, you can earn quite iffy as well. Yep. So yes, a lot of interesting gaming concept recently have actually coming from Asia. So, and I actually did my master in New Zealand, and I see how good our tech scene here as well. But I think for New Zealand startup, especially the gaming, it's more about collaborating and looking at the angles how you can collaborate with certain local partner, especially in Asia, which is a huge gaming community. Yep. All right. So speaking of cases, I have a very interesting project here. It's called Green Belly. So I have a chance to actually advising this project, and this is an example how gaming, blockchain, ESG, and corporate all coming together, right? So Green Belly was a simple gaming concept that making up, like the 5 component of the nature: earth, water, air, and so on and so on and so on. Very simple, like a simple quest game. But what's so interesting about this game is that they're using blockchain and NFT as one of the component to compulsory take the revenue stream out of the games for to fund, building forests in different country. So every $1 that being spent on the game, 10% of the revenue will be split right away by technology into a fund, a forest building fund, which later on different ESG community can actually request to disburse the fund to build a forest on their own. So the project was a big success, and we got community picking up, building forests in Brazil, Indonesia, and Vietnam, for example. So again, it depends on how you would like to leverage on the technology and, creating fairly good use out of it, right? It's not all about speculation as well. So this is also a very good gaming coming out of Vietnam called Pegasus. So Pegasus is a horse racing gaming on blockchain, for example. So I think racing and breeding was quite straightforward in our traditional racing game, but renting. Renting is a new feature that actually it making a full use of blockchain. So again, because the asset is such a unique commodity on the digital platform, right? When it's in one pocket, moving to another pocket, you can clearly track it. Then that's why it's allowing people to now, not only that I can invest in certain asset, I can wait until it's get back to, the normal price. I can invest in this commodity and rent it out, right? So there are students that could not afford, for example, buying VIP membership to play at the higher level, for example, but they can borrow, I can lend them for certain fees, and we can split the revenue stream, for example, like 20/80, for example. So out of the the fee that generated, I can take 20 out of it. So think of it like a mini Uber, clans, right? I can invest in a lot of the NFTs and lend it out to the players, which allowing them to play, make income, but I also get my share as well. So the NFT are actually allowing that to take place very accurately and efficiently, and all of the revenue splitting can be agreed beforehand as well. And I think I mentioned about esport and tournament as well. So with blockchain, it's very easy to track what kind of players and what kind of wallets are participate in certain activities, for example, which creating a way for project and corporates to asking the member or follower to solve certain quests to earn requests. And again, because this is built on blockchain, so it's very hard to cheat. So again, you see, I think I mentioned a lot about the elements of, not allowing people to, tamper with your games, and having the track record as protected as much as possible. So those are some of the cool, feature for the gaming out there. So it's very exciting because I think we are seeing more AAA games are coming into blockchain, and of course it takes much longer time to build AAA games on the blockchain. And if you ask me for my advice, you should not go full feature on blockchain right away. You should explore a certain feature on blockchain first to see how your games and how your community react first before actually, code it completely with blockchain, for example, because you have to take into consideration that not all of the traditional players will like the Web3 experience, for example. So they would like to stay where they are right now. But that Web3, that blockchain elements allowing you to unlock a new horizon and new, experience for the user. So think of that. The last slide. So basically this is who we are, what we can offer. We can offer technical support. We can invest in potential project, and also have infrastructure that supporting you. So for example, in the photo, so there are two products from us. So one is an NFT marketplace, which allowing you, if you have a games that already have NFT, please come work with us. And another one is called The Base. So The Base is a launchpad that allowing your project to fundraise with the like a crowdfunding through a crypto ways, for example. So all of these are fully function and being licensed in Dubai. For example, so if you have any cool project or any ideas to like entering into Southeast Asia market, please talk to me. And this is my WhatsApp. So if anyone would like to contact, keep in touch. You can look for my names on LinkedIn as well. So do we have time for Q&A? Yes.
Okay.
Maybe anyone one question? Oh no, I mean if anyone have question, I didn't mean to force it.
Unfortunately, if you have any question, you can ask inside. Right now, it's lunchtime, so
Yeah, no one wanna late for lunch.
thank you.